Hi guys, wanted to come to you live today with another Q&A. We did one last week, and if you didn't view it, I would encourage you to go on this page. It's pinned to the top. So if you wanted to check that one out, I would encourage you to do that. So we had great response, so I just wanted to come to you live again today with the opportunity for you to ask questions if you would like. And if I am not coming, my internet's upstairs today, so if I'm not coming across clear, if you could just give me a heads up. I sound okay to me, but I don't know how I sound on your end. So just let me know if I'm not coming across good. So I wanted to come to you today with some Q&A about how I could help you, maybe a little bit about your specific situation, and I can let you know if I can help you. I'm pretty sure that I can. Hi, Rhea, how are you? But I also wanted to touch base a little bit today about the topic of hope and how I can kind of reestablish some hope in your life. So as I'm talking, if you guys have any questions about what I do or how I can help you, if you didn't watch the first video, if you have any questions, please let me know. But I wanted to chat a little bit, just briefly today, about hope. I think what we find as people with chronic conditions, that kind of as we go along in our journey, it takes us forever to get diagnosed, first of all. I'm glad to hear you. Thanks. So it takes us, I don't know, I think it took me four years to get diagnosed. So, we finally get diagnosed, and then there's really kind of a period there where we struggle with figuring out how to manage fibromyalgia or chronic fatigue, or really anything that's chronic, any chronic health condition. But I find a lot of times, especially with fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue syndrome, because they're kind of, Western medicine practitioners kind of have a hard time with what to do with us. It's not like diabetes where they know what specific medication to give you. That's not to say that diabetes should be managed solely by medication, but I think there's more kind of, in the Western medicine practitioner world, more knowledge about what to do for us. So, hi Kim. So, so I think what happens is that, we're going along in our journey, we get diagnosed, and then what do we do from there? And I think over time, some people are blessed with a great practitioner. Oh, thank you, Kim. Some people, are blessed with a great practitioner off the bat, and a lot of people kind of go from doctor and doctor, finding a physician that knows what to do with them. And I find that's kind of the norm. I know it was for me before I kind of got into the functional medicine world. I mean, I didn't know how to handle me either. So, so people go to their doctors, and to the doctor's credit, to a Western medicine practitioner's credit, they don't know what to do with you. They're not trained in getting to root causes. That's not what they were trained in. They are trained to treat symptoms. So in their defense, they don't know what they're doing in regards to getting to root causes for fibromyalgia, especially chronic fatigue syndrome, those types of things, and even things like diabetes, of course. But just kind of staying on the topic of fibromyalgia, because I know a lot of you here are on this page because you have fibromyalgia, and that's how you found me. So, but I think that, they give you a pill because they don't know what to do with you. They don't know how to fix you. They want to help you, but that's kind of all they really know how to do. So they give you, hi Karen, or is it, I don't know how to say your name. There's a little asterisk, so I don't know if it's a different pronunciation. I'm sorry if it's not Karen, but hi. So, they give you a pill like Cymbalta, which is, I don't know if any of you have been on Cymbalta, or if any of you have tried to get off of Cymbalta. I have a few clients now that are getting off of Cymbalta. What is going on with the hair? I have a few clients now that are trying to get off of Cymbalta, and it's really a hard one to get off of. I find it's one of the toughest ones to get off of in regards to the mechanism by which it acts in your brain. Hi Shelby, how are you? So they give you a medication, and if you read a lot of studies for fibromyalgia, there's not really any type of medication that has really been shown to help fibromyalgia patients. Some of the ones that are said to help are the ones that kind of deal with the neurological side effects of fibromyalgia, but none of them really, or none of them at all, are getting to the root cause of your challenges, and that's why they don't work, or they work for a short period of time, and then you have to switch to a different one, or they work for a year, and then you feel just as bad as you did before you went on it. So, because what's happening is they're not getting to the root cause of why you got sick in the first place. Anytime we have a health challenge, there's a root cause to it, of course. So, and that's kind of the principle of functional medicine, is that we treat the body as a whole, because it's not pieces and parts. Everything is kind of interconnected. You have one thing that goes wrong, and over time that creates downstream effects that create all kinds of other things. So, I don't think I introduced myself. My name is Heather Conley. I'm the Master in Chief of the Fit with Fibro page. I'm a functional medicine practitioner, and I wanted to come to you today with just a little tidbit about hope, and how I kind of give hope to my clients. So, you're diagnosed, and then you go to your doctor, and they don't know how to fix you, and then you feel really bad. And I think there's kind of one of these things where you get diagnosed, and I don't know for you guys, but for me, when I was diagnosed, and this was back before I was a functional practitioner, I was diagnosed, and there was a kind of a relief, but then there was a downward spiral from there, because then nobody could help me. So, so I was diagnosed, but I was like, all right, well, now what do I do? And nobody really knew. So, so a lot of my clients come to me when they're at a point where they have lost kind of any and all hope of ever getting well. And that's really sad to me, because, if you talk to some of my clients, and Kim is actually one of my clients, if you talk to some of my clients, even in the first few months of working together, they get some small wins, and that helps them to at least feel like, I can get better. I can feel better than what I feel now, because you're really not destined to live in pain and fatigue. You can feel optimal. I don't like to tell people that have fibromyalgia or chronic fatigue syndrome that you're never going to have a bad day. Karen, yes, and if I'm saying your name wrong, I apologize. Please reach out to me. Send me a personal message on my page, and I'd love to chat with you about how I might be able to help you. But yeah, so we feel like, like I said, we're not destined to live in pain and fatigue. And I don't like to tell people that you're never going to have a bad day, because that's not true. I have bad days, right? So, but you can feel optimal, and I like to use the word optimal, because you can feel much better than what you feel right now. That's not to say that you're never going to have a bad day. We're all going to have bad days. Even if you're not chronically ill, you're going to have a bad day, right? But you can feel better than you feel now. You can feel optimal. I like to use the word optimal. So basically what I do for my clients is I help them to reach optimal wellness within whatever kind of health challenges they're working within. My primary market is fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue, as well as Lyme, chronic Lyme. I also have chronic Lyme myself. And then, but I also deal with people that have, do I sound okay to everybody else? I know Karen's having some challenges. If I don't sound okay, please let me know. Like I said, I sound okay to me, but I don't know how I sound to you. So please let me know if I'm breaking up. I'll try to move to a different location. I'm downstairs. My router's upstairs, so that might be it. Okay, you hear me fine. Okay, Karen, what you might try to do later on, if I'm still breaking up for you, if anybody else wants to chime in too, just to let me know I sound okay, that would be great. But if I am breaking up just for you, Karen, please listen to the recording. It will be posted on the page, and you should be able to hear it fine. But if I am breaking up, please let me know, and I'll move upstairs. This is kind of a new house situation for some of you that don't know, so trying to find the optimal location. I know I sounded fine last week, so just let me know. Anybody else that's on. So what I do for my clients is I help them to reach optimal wellness, and I think a large portion of why people love working with me is because I have fibromyalgia as well as chronic fatigue and Lyme, so I can kind of commiserate with you in regards to challenges. I think a lot of practitioners that kind of specialize in chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia and things of that nature that don't have it for themselves, I think it's a little bit, oh good Karen, thank you. So I think people, it's the critters. Yeah, they're upstairs choosing the wires. But I think practitioners that don't have the conditions themselves, I think it's a little bit harder, even though that they might have the knowledge. They don't know what it feels like internally to have fibromyalgia or chronic fatigue. I mean, I think until you have it, you can't really get it, if that makes sense to anybody that's listening. So I think what I bring to a lot of clients, and I hear this a lot when I have consultations with people, is that I'm kind of like their last hope. And while that's great for me, it saddens me that that's kind of where people are at. And I find that that's where a lot of people are at, that have chronic challenges because their doctors aren't helping them. And like I said, to their credit, they're not trained in that. So when people come to me, I think they kind of feel a sigh of relief because they've heard things from me that they've not heard from a Western practitioner. I've kind of put puzzle pieces together for them in an initial consultation that they say, wow, no one's ever said that to me before. And I think innately a lot of us know, oh, thank you, Kim. Wonderful. I love to hear that. But I think, we go to our Western medicine practitioner and they don't know how to help us. And then someone comes to me and I kind of put the puzzle pieces together for them. Now, granted, as I said, as I work with a client, we kind of what I call like peel back the layers of their onion, because we all kind of have these layers that didn't just start yesterday. They started a couple of years ago where one thing happened and then that wasn't kind of dealt with, and then kind of this cycle of badness happened where 5-10 years later where we're at, and we feel like poop. So it's not just kind of as we kind of peel back the layers of the onion, we find different things, but. I think innately, like when clients come to me, I think a lot of the times they kind of innately have this feeling, this gut feeling that they know what's kind of wrong with them. And a lot of times if we go to our Western medicine practitioner and we kind of let them know what we think is wrong with us, it's oftentimes poo-pooed, and then we're meant to feel like, really bad about kind of trying to identify what was wrong with us. So sometimes I try to bring that out for people and say to them, hey, what do you innately think is wrong? And oftentimes they'll tell me. I don't have to tell it to them. They know. And a lot of times it's hard for them to kind of say those things because in the past when they've tried to speak up and say, hey, this is what I think is wrong with me, it's kind of been, put on the back burner. So, hi, Sally, how are you? So I think, like I said, people come to me and I'm their last kind of ditch effort. Like if this doesn't work out, then I'm destined to feel like crap for the rest of my life. So, and like I said, that's kind of sad to me that's where people are at. But so again, my name is Heather Conley. I'm a functional health coach. So basically, I'm not a doctor. I'm a health coach that is trained in functional medicine for health coaches. So basically, I can do everything that a doctor can, except for order labs and call in medicine, which I wouldn't do anyway. I work a lot with supplements with a lot of my clients. That being said, a lot of my clients come to me and they're on many, many medications. Some of them for fibromyalgia and some of them for other things. So, and some people want to get off medications and some people don't. I'm not here to tell you what you should do. It's your own body. But I deal a lot with supplementation for people to get them well, and then getting off medications if that's your choice. But I find a lot of my clients that come to me are on a lot of medications because you were put on a medication to help something, and then it had a side effect, so then you were put on another medication to treat the side effect for the first medication, and it just kind of becomes this downward spiral. So, a lot of people, even if people that have, diabetes or, other health challenges come to me that are on a lot of medication. So, but, I just wanted to come to you today with another Q&A. If you're listening to this after the live recording, you can post any questions you have below. in regards to your specific situation if you want to know if I can help, or any other questions that you might have. But I did want to just talk to you guys a little bit about hope, and I think a lot of, like I said, a lot of my clients come to me at that point where they just feel like, they're not going to get well. This is their new norm, right? And if that's kind of your new norm, I mean, that's right? They feel like they just they're destined to be exhausted and in pain for the rest of their lives. And like I said, that's not to say that you're never going to have a bad day, but you can feel better, way better than you do now. But back to the whole functional practitioner thing. So I'm a functional health coach. So I went to school at IIN for health coaching, and what I found was that it was very limited in regards to how I could help people, especially my population. I wanted to really help people just like me. Oh, I'm sorry, there's my cat. Sorry about that. She likes to kind of get into the video. But I found it was very limited in regards to how I could help people, eat kale, exercise more, drink more water, but that's very basic, and I already knew all those things. So I wanted to kind of really get into more depth with functional medicine. And I had a lot of experience with that in regards to my own health. I've seen many, many functional practitioners over the years, but I also had a lot of just knowledge from my own health challenges and being my own advocate, because I'm a huge fan of being your own advocate. Even if you've never worked with me, just really being your own advocate and going to your doctor and really just expressing what you think is wrong with you, and really expressing what you want done for yourself, because if you're not, then it's not going to get done for you, unfortunately. So I had a lot of knowledge already from lots of research during my own health challenges. So I went back to school for applied functional medicine for health coaches. So that's basically what I do now is functional medicine. I do require lab work from people. So when we have consultations, I'm kind of like a lab work geek. Love to get my hands on lab work because there's a lots of pearls in lab work, even basic lab work. Even if you come to me and you only have a basic CBC or a basic metabolic panel, there's a lot of things that we can find that your Western practitioner isn't picking out. So raise your hand if you're listening, and or even after if you're listening to the recording, and you've been to your practitioner and they've done a bunch of labs, and they call you up and they say, oh, your lab work's all fine. And then you're left with, okay, well then why do I feel like this? Or you're normal. Well, normal isn't optimal by any stretch of the imagination. Normal is basically the disease population, or the average population, which is often the disease population. That's what the reference range is. So we don't want to be normal. We want to be optimal. So there's optimal ranges within each lab marker. So oftentimes when people come to me with their lab work and we're kind of going through it and we're picking out, raising hand, yeah, so true. And we're picking out things, people are like, oh, wow, well, that was never said to me. And I can kind of use the example of diabetes. And I think I said this in the last video too, but it bears repeating. People that are diagnosed with diabetes, or even pre-diabetes, you go to your regular practitioner once a year and they do an annual physical, and they call you up and they say, oh, everything's fine, you're all normal, and we go along our way because we don't know any better, right? We think we're normal and we're cool, and we go along our merry way, and then 5 years later we get a call from our physician and they're like, oh no, you have diabetes, or you have pre-diabetes. And it's like it just happened yesterday, and it really didn't. So if we were kind of looking at the trends of their lab work over the years, we would have seen that it was kind of trending towards a diabetes type of situation, and it wasn't caught. So that's the sad part, is that a lot of times people are going along, and whereas something could have been fixed, remedied, turned around, it wasn't, because it wasn't identified as kind of trending in that direction. So that's kind of the sad part in regards to Western medicine and what happens with lab work. So one of the things that I would encourage you to do, even if you never ever have a consult with me, is to get a copy of your lab work early on back in the day, and I didn't know any better either. I never got copies of lab work, and kind of it's one of those things I'd love to have it now, because you can kind of go back and see what wasn't kind of pointed out by people. But always get a copy of your lab work, because even if they say you're normal, you're probably not, but don't take that as face value. Get a copy of your lab work for sure, and find somebody that knows about optimal values, because I can guarantee you there's things within that lab work that are not optimal for you, and for your unique body, because I definitely think that just as no one diet suits everybody, all lab work too for different people is optimal. Example is thyroid lab work. I mean, there's definitely optimal values, but some people can kind of operate in a like a hypothyroid state and feel perfectly fine, whereas somebody else could have those same lab markers and feel awful. So everybody's, we call it in the health coaching world, bio-individuality. We're all different. I'm a huge fan of not every diet is the same for everybody. So, I could go on a paleo diet and feel fantastic, and Kim could go on a paleo diet and feel really bad. So it's all different. I'm a vegan, but not everybody thrives with a vegan diet. So I'm definitely not one of those people that are, telling everybody to go vegan, because not everybody thrives that way. So, but feel free to ask me any questions. If you're listening to this video later, feel free to post any questions. I'm happy to chat with you. If you feel like you want to set up a consult, please reach out to me just via private message. I'm happy to chat with you about how I might be able to help you. Even if we don't set up a consult, I'm happy to say hello and meet a new friend. I love to meet new people, especially new people that are just like me, and that kind of started out just like me, with being diagnosed and kind of not knowing where to go. But there is hope. And that's kind of what I wanted to point out to you guys today, is you're not destined to live in pain forever, every single day, 24 hours a day. You're not destined to be exhausted all the time. There's things that can be done for sure. And so I just wanted to bring you a little bit of hope today. Like I said, even if you never set up a consult with me, that there is opportunity to get well. Being exhausted and in pain and feeling really horrible is not where you're destined to be. And there's definitely hope, and that's kind of doesn't have to be your new norm. I think people kind of fall into this thing where they've been sick for 2, 3, 4 years, 5 years, even 10, and they kind of just feel like that's where their new norm is. The old person is gone. The person that they used to know is gone, and that's really not the case. So if I can bring you any hope today that is not the case, I'd love to do that. There's things we can do, and you can definitely feel better. You can feel optimal, and live your life for sure. I mean, life's too short to be kind of stuck in this wheel of not getting any better. So feel free to ask me any questions if you have it. But I just wanted to come today to you with this short little video to let you know that there is hope. And I am available for consults. I do have limited space for consults right now, but I would be happy to set one up with you if you are serious and you would like to get better. So I'm gonna go. I have more things to do, of course, in the house, never ending. But I want to try to do some more of these videos for you guys, just because I think that it's helpful, because you see me on the Fit with Fibro page. I do post about 8 to 10 times a day, just to kind of give you guys some value on the page. And things that are fibro related, or even things like I think I posted the other day a healthy oven cleaner, because using chemicals definitely isn't helping us. So I like to bring you guys some value on the page, but I wanted to kind of come to you a little bit more often, face to face, just so you can kind of get to know who I am. And I think that sometimes that helps for people to get to know me before they feel more comfortable in regards to reaching out to set up a consult. So, but I'm happy to, talk on topics that you want to hear more about. So if you have any ideas, feel free to post them below on topics that you think you'd like me to chat about. In regards to helping, with your specific case, it's, everybody's different. So if you want some kind of one-on-one, really targeted direction in regards to your specific case, I'm available for consult. So that would be the way to go. But if you have something that you think that maybe everybody would benefit from hearing about, I'm happy to chat on certain topics. But that's what I wanted to come to you today. I had a consult the other day with a woman she didn't have fibromyalgia, but she suffers from some chronic things, which I find a lot of people do have chronic things, even if they're not like fibromyalgia or chronic fatigue syndrome. And she had told her husband that, look, this is my last hope to feel better. And she's only in her 30s, so to feel, that bad at, 35, 36. So there's definitely opportunity to get better, even if even if you're listening to this and you don't have fibromyalgia, even if you suffer from chronic headaches. I mean, even that can be debilitating, right? A headache every day, that can be debilitating, or sleep issues, because there's a lot of things that we kind of suffer from that a lot of people think of kind of the getting old type of things, the aches and pains, the can't sleep, the things that we classify as getting old type of symptoms. We don't have to go through that, for sure. So if I can bring you any hope today, that would be lovely. On a Saturday, that you can kind of walk away from this and think, oh, okay, well, maybe I can feel better. So I'm happy to chat with you about how I may be able to help you. And then, like I said, please comment below either after this. Say if you walk away, or you're listening live and you walk away and you're like, oh yeah, maybe I want her to talk about this. Feel free to post below and let me know some topics that you'd like me to chat about. If you'd like to meet my cat that just walked across the screen. But thank you for spending a little bit of time with me on a Saturday, and I try to give you guys a little bit of a heads up a day or two ahead of time to let you know when I am going to go live. So if you can pop on live, that's great, but the recording is always up. And I also figured out a way, yay, with someone's help, how to repurpose these videos so that they don't go away, because Facebook Live, if eventually they kind of leave, or they get buried in the post, but they are up on my YouTube page. So the one that I did last weekend is up on my YouTube page. So you can go back and view that there, or I also have it pinned up the top. But if you find kind of as we go along you're missing some videos, I am going to try to get all of them up on YouTube, but they're also on my my website as well, so that there's opportunities for you to view them several different places. So my website, I have moving brain, my website is fitwithfibro.com, so they're also up over there as well. But if you missed the one from last week, I encourage you to go check it out. It's pinned at the very top of this page. Okay, so happy Saturday, guys, and I will chat with you soon.